Primal Chaos.
Hey guys, Primal Chaos here. Welcome to the channel. Today's episode is brought to you in part by Enchroma Glasses. Enchroma makes corrective lenses and glasses for people with all kinds of color deficiencies. So if you're colorblind or you know someone who is, check out their website. And if you use the code CHAOS in checkout, CHAOS, you'll get 10% off. Tell them Primal Chaos at you. We're going to jump straight into Slipknot, the Dying Song. I've done a little bit of Slipknot in the past. I'm a little bit familiar with them, but this song's pretty much brand new. There is a new one out since then because they're just dropping singles right now. But this is The Dying Song by Slipknot. Let's check it out. It's all very ambient. Righto. These guys always just nail the creep factor, don't they?
Put your hands into the water.
That's a surprise.
Let your mouth go sick and dry. Put your life into your death now. Let them see.
Look at that synth. Wow. Okay, up tempo. Wow, okay. I'm gonna make this a bit louder. Okay. Pick it up. Wow, alright. Oh, I like this. Wow. It's got like a really organic sort of texture, gritty texture to it, to the arrangement. One thing I've always liked about Slipknot, in the little bit that I've heard of Slipknot, is they're not afraid to have a hook, right? So far, the song up to now, a minute 40, has been rambunctious and just all over the place. You know, I talked about this in the Hailstorm reaction that I did recently. That they, every time it comes to a new part of the song, you expect it to go somewhere, and they kind of subvert it by like upping the tempo or doing, rather than dropping back to like a half time or something that's kind of traditional. They've been just throwing different things at the wall and seeing what sticks. And there's some aggressive sort of chuggy sort of riffs, and then you've got some really organic kind of lazy from a timing perspective, kind of more organic guitar, similar to, I guess, what like Adam Jones would play from Tool rather than Slipknot, you know. And then you've got these just classic harmonized vocal melody hooks, you know. The verses so far have been really verbose, like really a lot of lyrics in a small space. And Corey's just utilizing that part of his voice that's really sort of like, he somehow manages to have that sort of grit while still maintaining the core element of his voice a little bit. So it's like, rah, 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 rah. So you can still hear the na, but like that. But he's sort of pushing it through that sort of fry vocal, rah, 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 rah kind of thing. Which I think that sounds amazing. I love when he does that. But yeah, now we're into the harmonized vocals in the chorus. I'll jump back a little bit. Yeah, they're never afraid to shy away from a hook, which is you know, not everybody likes to do that because sometimes they think it probably feels a little bit too poppy. But yeah, Slipknot, they seem to know what they're doing. That's the lazy sort of, it's kind of spooky. Oh, how good is that scream? Oh, some low growls in there. You hear that in the background? It's really low. I love that they're doing the callback to the intro as well. Jesus Christ, it's pretty good, man. Come on, wow. Damn, wow, okay. It's amazing how these guys just keep seeming to innovate. Then it's not like they found their position, you know, in the 2000s, and they're just trying to still remain relevant. They're just coming up with new and interesting vibes. You know, the worst thing that ever happens to a band is they have a worldwide international hit, and then all of a sudden they just want to keep capturing that magic. Sugar Ray was a great example of that. You know, they changed the entire aesthetic of their band based around a single that went crazy, you know. Whereas someone like Slipknot, it seems to me that they're just having fun and they just really love the material and they just keep on pushing the boulder down the road, you know, and just seeing what comes next. This seems really fresh and original and unique, and it's not trickery. It's not like they're shoehorning interesting little fills and stuff in between things. Every part of the song is kind of like this new flavor that you can just really sink your teeth into and enjoy, you know. It's without being, you know, it's got complexity, but it's not complexity like you'd find in something like Periphery or someone like that, or Meshuggah. It's a different, it's a little bit less contrived complexity. It's more just chaos, right? It's really interesting. I'm really digging this song, and I love that, you know, Corey's such a versatile performer, and he's as comfortable singing middle of the road rock as he is singing this sort of stuff as well, and it never seems forced or artificial. It seems like it comes from a love of the material, right? And just wanting to do the best thing at the time for the material, and that's I can't thank him enough for that. That's really cool. Well, it's another notch. You know what I'm stoked about? It seems like Wah is coming back. You know, like you could hear it there at the end of the... Hear that throaty kind of wah, wah, sort of guitar sound. That's it. That's a wah pedal. A wah is that sort of... here's one I prepared earlier. So what it is essentially it's a mid-range sweep of like an equalizer, right? But you control it with your foot. So like if I hit a... But it allows you to do those kind of... All it's really doing is it's taking like a mid-range equalizer and just sweeping it with your foot. And it just sort of makes that peak go up and down the frequencies. And it makes a cool sort of noise. But where it's interesting here How they're using it is, and especially if you put it with something like an octave or something. There's just these really distorted, muddy, kind of gravelly, throaty kind of guitar effects that are happening now. And it's cool because to me it sort of adds this element of like organic randomness to the sound, because for the longest time, you know, with metalcore and stuff like that, a lot of times it was very pristine, high gain guitars, but very clean and driven and specific. You know, you'd be playing the notes, you know, riffs and, you know, rhythms and stuff like that, and it all had to be very clean and punchy. Whereas, you know, then what you can do is you can add elements like this where you have something like a wah pedal, or say, for example, you know, like a phaser or a flanger, a lot of those sort of 60s psychedelic effects. And when you put them into the mix of kind of modern metal, it takes some of that sort of contrived edge off, and you get this kind of organic, breathing, kind of lifelike effect to the rhythm of the rhythm of the track, right? Or the rhythm section, you know, like those bottom end guitars, and or even so, like a subtle effects over the top of a tight rhythm section. It just breaks up that monotony, and it's just like this kind of mycelium that sort of grows in and just makes it feel like it's grounded, you know, in a really cool sort of psychedelic way. But yeah, you can hear it right there. This next part now. You know, that sort of thing. Ooh. That's really cool. This clip is so weird, man. That is so strange. Man. Alright, so first of all, let's get the video clip out of the way. What I found interesting about that was it's kind of got this weird, it's like a car crash between like carny atmosphere, you know, like if you've walked into the wrong tent in like a off the beaten track carnival experience, and you've gone into the Hall of Mirrors, but it's also at the same time it's got this neon sort of glitzy glam rock thing going on, and then you splice that with this weird horror kind of element of like, it reminds me of like a melange of like Lars von Trier or like Stanley Kubrick, but like that, and also that 70s horror where everything, like perfect example right at the end there, the colors, like the color grading on this shot, it just seems like 1978, like low budget horror film, you know, like it's oversaturated with reds and oranges and like a rosy sort of color. And you know, that's, you know, in other places as well, you know, so like here, this is a perfect example right here, of just using those videodelic effects, or like, you know, mirror sort of effects, things like practical things that just make things look trippy and out of place. And, you know, a lot of that's fallen by the wayside in horror, you know, like it's like if you ever saw a movie called, I think it's called The House That Jack Built or something. It's got, I think that was Lars von Trier, but towards the end, the movie starts spiraling into psychosis and becomes really weird towards the end, or something like, something that captured the aesthetic of this really, really well, of like the psychology of it, was the Black Swan as well. Like, you know, as everything becomes like this weird hurdy-gurdy of like just chaos and psychology towards the end. That's the vibe I think they were going for here, and they kind of nailed it. But like the song's chaotic and the visuals are chaotic, and I think that's brilliant. Because of the nature of the mirrors and stuff in the background and all of the lights, it's hard to get a read on anything. Everything's just overblown and overexposed and, you know, grainy but sharp at the same time. And it's just a trip to look at, you know. And then this bright red floor, like it's pure chaos. Yeah, so anyway, getting back to the song, I think I already mentioned what I really like about it. I like the fact that it's sort of chaos, and it feels sort of unleashed and just sort of not produced. You know what I mean? Like you can have really sort of interesting and unique heavy metal, or, you know, metalcore or whatever. But it always sometimes feels like, you know, someone's towing the line. They're doing what everybody else in the genre is doing to hit that benchmark of what good is, right? Whereas it seems like this is just, hey guys, let's just go hell for leather for like 4 minutes of just chaos. And we'll throw a chorus in there, a couple of choruses just to bring it home. But this is like, you know, there wasn't really, as much as Corey Taylor's great at doing anthemic stuff, like stuff that makes you just want to punch the sky, which is kind of what this chorus is. There's not really anything anthemic in this. It's really just pure aggression and chaos and dissonance and stuff like that. And I think at this point in time, when so many metalcore bands and heavy bands don't know what to do next, because everybody can sort of sense that the genre is falling apart and it's slowly evolving. A lot of the older bands are sort of figuring out that, you know, they don't really want to do the same thing anymore. Everybody's kind of metamorphosizing into what they are, like band 2.0, without losing fans and without, you know, trying to seem like they're going soft, but still trying to push into something new and different, you know, by way of maybe adding a lot more samples or a lot more production, things like that. Slipknot it's almost like subversive. They've brought this out to show we're not doing anything different. We're just going to double down and go harder, you know? And I think there's a core fan base out there that's going to really appreciate that. They're going to be like, you know, and I mean, this is me talking from outside the circle, right? I'm not a Slipknot fan. I don't have a history of them. I really like what I'm seeing, but I don't have their entire catalog burned into my skull, right? So to me, from the outside looking in, it seems like they're probably just writing the music that they just really want to hear and that they know will connect with hopefully the people who've been there all along and, you know, like them from their most aggressive stuff through some of their other stuff, like, and things like Stone Sour and things like that. I think this is fantastic. I really enjoyed it. It's one of those songs I'm going to have to listen to 3 or 4 times before I really get the gist of everything, because it is chaotic and stuff. And I think when you watch it with the video clip, it's overwhelming, you know, to a certain degree. But man, that was a really cool one. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big fan. All right. So yeah, if you feel like supporting the channel, best way to do that is just buy me a coffee. I'll leave a link in the description. You can also hit the thanks button just below the video as well. That's YouTube's way of allowing you to support creators without leaving YouTube. Just hit subscribe. If you haven't already, hit the bell. Thanks, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Hey, guys, this video is made possible by Enchroma. 1 in 6 guys and 1 in 200 women are colorblind, and if that happens to be you, there's something you can do about it. Click the link in the description. It'll take you to Enchroma's website where you can get a free eye test. And while you're there, maybe pick up some corrective lenses. They've got styles to suit everybody and a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you got really nothing to lose. And while you're there, use the code CHAOS in checkout to get 10% off. Tell them Primal Chaos sent you.